I've said it before and I'll say it again. Italy is one of the greatest teachers you could ever ask for. And I feel like living here in Italy, I'm never ever going to stop learning. And so in today's video, I want to share with you some key lessons that life in Italy has taught me. And it's particularly apt because I'm releasing this video on a Monday this week and not at my usual Sunday slot, because today is the publication day of my second book, Lessons from the Boot Volume 1. I'm super excited. This is loosely inspired by my podcast of the same name, but essentially in this book, I am sharing a lot of the lessons that life in South Italy teaches me in terms of personal growth and development, mindset, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to put the link below in the show notes to all of the different places that the book is available from. I'm so excited to say it's even available in Feltrinelli. Feltrinelli, this is one of Italy's biggest bookshops. I mean, super happy. So go ahead and check it out. The link is below in the show notes. So let's begin with the first lesson, which is also tied into me publishing my second book, which is you have to find the opportunities. And you know, I'm really passionate about this because I've always believed that like life doesn't come to you, you have to go to life. And it's interesting because so many people will be passive and they will wait for opportunities to come to them. And you see this a lot when it comes to publishing books. So a lot of people believe that if you want to publish a book, you have to wait for a big publishing house to kind of approve your work and accept you, and then you've made it. But let me tell you, so many people wait such a long time for that opportunity, and so many people never ever get past the big publishing books houses doors. So essentially you have to make the opportunity come alive for yourself. And this is my second book that I have self-published, and I'm so proud. I mean, last time, my first book, I published it exclusively with Amazon. This time I've used a different provider, which has meant that it's available in a lot of different places: Apple Books, Feltrinelli, Amazon even, like Barnes & Noble. It's available in a more international sense, and I'm super excited about this. But you have to make the opportunity happen for yourself, and it is this. And you know, it's the same with work. If you want to get a job, if you want to move to Italy, if you want to do anything in your life, you've got to make it happen. You've got to seek out the opportunity. And that's the biggest thing that I have learned living here, because it's not easy to live in Italy, especially if you are a foreigner, or stranieri, as they like to call people from outside of Italy. So for this, you have to find the opportunities. Imagine, from my first book, I have a piece of permanent street art in the streets of Palermo. I don't even properly speak Italian yet, like to the point where I could say I'm fluent. Find the opportunity. That came about because I made connections through Instagram and I followed that opportunity. And that is exactly what you must do in life. And that is exactly what living here in Italy teaches me. Nothing is handed to you on a silver platter. And if it is, it's not worth going for. You need to put the effort in, and then I promise you, you will reap the rewards of any hard work that you may do. The second key lesson that life in Italy has taught me is that essentially you've got to look after yourself, and you've got to remember that you are always with you. Now, this is another term that is often bandied about on social media, but it's the truest thing, and it's something that I learned when I moved to Italy. I really perhaps naively believed that Italy could fix me of the anxiety and the feelings that I had when I first moved here, but essentially it has helped me, but in a different way. It's made me face up to those issues and deal with them and do the work on myself to make myself feel better. So it wasn't like a quick fix, it's a journey, but I promise you, I really wouldn't be who I am today had I not made this change in my life. And so this is it. You have to remember, you move with you. You are always with you. So you must make sure the relationship with yourself is a healthy one. You must make sure you do the work on your mental health. In fact, watch this video here if you want to dive a bit deeper into this topic. You have to make sure that you do the work on your mental health and you do the work on your mindset to help you to be the best version of yourself. Like, life here in Italy is complicated. And there are so many differences between cultures and language and people in general that if you do not have a good relationship with yourself, you will find it very difficult indeed. And so this is something that living here has really kind of highlighted for me, how important this aspect is. So make sure that you really strengthen your own connection with yourself and you make that the priority above and beyond connections with other people, because sure, they're important, you must have them here in Italy, but predominantly if you don't have the connection within yourself first and foremost, everything else is going to be so much more difficult. The third big lesson that I have learnt from living here in Italy is that change is essential. Now, you have to adapt certain aspects of your character when you live here, for sure. Like, it's impossible for you to be exactly the same person that you were when you first arrived 5 or 6 years later. Italy changes you, and I actually think it's for the better, because it opens your mind. You learn so much along the way that you will never be the same person who first stepped foot in this country, and I actually think that that is a good thing. And so you have to be open to change. So many people who move here are not. And as a result, they break and they leave. Like, Italy is not for the faint-hearted. It isn't La Dolce Vita and all the romantic things that you have been told for many, many years. This is a country which is real and raw and has many problems of its own. And so you have to be ready for that. And I think if you can really adapt to life here and embrace it, I mean, look, I'm sitting down to film a video, it's 8:15 in the morning and somebody has decided to start building work. And you know, I've got to roll with it. It's no sense getting stressed. This is Italy. I'm learning to live with the flaws. And this is it, right? You have to adapt. You have to cope. You have to find your own path here in Italy, but please embrace change. It's the one thing that will help this process be even easier for you, and it will help you to really embrace your new life. If you are resistant to change, I really don't believe you should move to Italy, because it's going to be too difficult for you to stay the same person when you are faced with so many differences here in this country. So be open to change. It's not the big monster that we have been led to believe for so many years. It's actually something that could help you to become an even better person. The fourth lesson that Italy has taught me is really that people are the same the world over. Like, it's so interesting, isn't it? Like, we can move to Italy and believe that people here are fantastic and amazing and friendly. And yes, for the most part, that is true. Honestly, some of the friendliest people I've ever met have come from Italy. But I've also met people who are at the other end of the spectrum, and people who demonstrate behaviours that are not kind, or, you know, they are two-faced, or they gossip, or they just have a negative vibe. Like, this is real life. Italy is not a bubble. Italy is a normal country like any other. And so you're going to have the broad spectrum of people. There are criminals that live here. There are decent people that live here. There are rich people here. There are poor people here. There are people in the middle here. Like, this is life. And so I kind of feel that you have to remember this, because if you move here expecting to have improved connections with people, improved relationships, that might indeed come with time, because I believe that when you form connections here in Italy, and real solid connections, they are really, really valuable, and they are a bond for life. But it's not something that comes immediately. You do have to reassess the way that you interact with people here in Italy. It does teach you a lot about connections. It does teach you a lot about reading people and identifying what is a real connection and what is perhaps more of a superficial one. But essentially, just remembering this is what Italy has taught me massively. Like, I will look at the way some people behave here, and I can relate it to people that I used to know back in the UK. And it's just this. So I feel like we have to take the shine a little bit off how we think friendships and connections are here in Italy, and just look at it for what it is at face value. People are exactly the same wherever you may go. The fifth lesson that Italy has taught me really is that you've got to be forever curious. This is like something that I love about living here, because there is literally so much to discover, and I can understand why people spend a lot of their lives within Italy itself, because every region is different to the next. There are so many different towns and villages and cities to discover. It's incredible. Like, Sicily alone as an island is vast, and there are so many places that I want to discover and explore. It's this, like, I feel this forever sense of curiosity within me. I'm always wanting to learn new things, to discover new places. I come alive when I visit somewhere new for the first time. And I really think Italy helps so much with this. And it really shows you the importance of being open to new experiences, open to new places, open to learning new things. And that is what I love about Italy. I love the sense of curiosity that it kind of inspires within me. And I think it's something that everyone can benefit from. Like, there is so much to see and do here in this country, and I must admit, I always feel like I'm on holiday. I feel like I'm a permanent tourist here, and I feel like that's a really, really beautiful thing, because when you live somewhere that you don't think you're ever going to get tired of, I kind of think you've hit the jackpot, really. And so Italy for me is this. It is a place that I'm forever curious about. I feel like I'm never going to get to know all of it. I feel like I'm always going to be learning. But for me, that's the greatest thing. And if you're curious to know more about the lessons that life in Italy teaches me, link again to the show notes where my book is there. It's available in ebook and also paper book copies. And yeah, you can follow along there. And as always, my podcast as well, Lessons from the Boot, I'll link it up here if you want to hear the audio versions of my lessons and personal growth as I experience them week by week. But this is it. I think if you're moving to Italy, you will have one of the most transformative experiences you could ever ask for. I'll see you in the next video.